Hey everyone, Temple of Chaos, new, tomorrow patch. I've done a video on it. One of the things that I haven't seen too much is actually like interesting teams, specifically for Team 1. Duragron is the team you should be using in Team 2 and 3 if you have it. Sometimes amplified by Uldong if you have it. If not, whatever, it's still like the best team essentially. But what I haven't seen too much is like variety in Team 1. Like a lot of people use Lucas, a lot of people use Jean, a lot of people use like Fire Gojo, Sabrina Shayna for armor breaks, Hwahi. What's interesting though is Team 2, a lot of people have been sort of defaulting to Katarina if they're not using Duragron, but one of the things that helps if you're trying to make a traditional team for Team 2 is to be able to keep Hwahi. And so one of the things I sort of set out on a mission was to see what's the highest score I could get on Team 1 without using a lot of the common building blocks that you would use for other types of teams. And so I came up with this one, and obviously there's LD5s in it. I know of a team that's basically as good as this, but it's a secret. But I really like Yuji, and I like the fact that he actually has a content that he's good in. And obviously Lucifer is really good, but weirdly enough, Lucifer is not super good in Temple of Chaos, specifically because of his ATB gain. Like it kind of messes up certain types of intricate turn orders and things of that nature. But I found out that he's pretty good in this team. And so the general idea, and I'll show a run through, is that it's pretty typical stuff. Like you armor break, kill, just sort of like you would with a twins team. However, one of the big differences in this case is that I'm using Lucifer to amp the damage. And most importantly is that in this case, Lucifer can himself kill on the first couple of turns without having to use one of the other two big damage dealers as a follow-up, which allows you to get more total kills on the boss, which allows you to get a higher score. I'll show the runes real quick, general like layout. So this is Lucas. He's 55 crit rate, damage, etc. This is his not even that good artifacts, honestly. In this case, I'm using both Helia on a kind of a DPS set. Helia's DPS set doesn't matter as much. Prillia's in this case is actually really relevant because I need her to help Lucifer kill on the first turn. So that's why she's actually built like a DPS. Yuji, crit rate, damage dealt on light. The artifacts don't really matter. I'll show them to you anyway, just for posterity's sake. In this case, I'm mostly doing crit damage is less because he multi-hits. And then Lucifer, damage dealt on dark. Or sorry, damage dealt on dark, not damage dealt on light. Anyway, doesn't matter. High damage. I'll show you why. So this team in my testing has gotten 2.4 if you hit every armor break and every brand from Helia, because she amps Lucas's damage because he's the heaviest hitter. We're basically going to go over sort of the turn order and like how you use the skills. There's a couple intricacies to it in terms of like if you miss a death break in a certain place, it'll basically throw you off by a kill by the end of the run. So hopefully you don't miss armor breaks. Missing armor breaks is the worst. So basically, her third skill is guaranteed, so you go for it on the first turn. Her second skill is actually more damage, so you save it. Yuji will kill without any sort of setup, and later on, Yuji will be hitting into her armor break. But for now, he can just kill. Here, her third skill is on the same cooldown as Lucas's second skill. In this case, I missed the branding, so this won't do as much damage, but it's not so bad this early on. The main thing is that if you don't do enough damage there, it won't do Lucifer's amp enough to allow him to kill on this hit. So like if you only got branding there, this probably wouldn't have killed, at least with my runes. So Yuji keeps doing the thing, that's fine. On the next rotation for Lucifer, that's going to be one of the most important ones. Or the most important one because I think it's the last time at least my Lucifer can kill. But with Prillia's second skill, you do enough damage that, because it just does good damage, that you can secure a third kill with Lucifer by himself, and then Yuji will clean up again to get yet another kill. As I said, my top score, I think, is over 2.4 million if you hit everything. So like without that branding, I may or may not be able to, I think it doesn't decrease my score that much because the score is actually heavily based on how many times you kill the boss. So this will be the first time I miss with Lucifer. If someone else has just a way better Lucifer, you might be able to get a fourth kill here. And now it's just the Yuji show. Like he's just going to be like hitting into armor breaks for the rest of this time. So here's one of our big damage setups. This should do like 400k. with branding. Super nice. Right now, you don't get as much score out of it, but late in the run, like he's actually going to be one of the heaviest hitters. So here we go with the second skill. And since I have so much crit damage on like lower HP, like it's good that like it softens it up for him. So missing a defense break isn't really a run ender. It just means you'll kill less. And that means your score will be lower. The only one that's like really annoying to miss, honestly, is the last defense break. You should be able to kill that one, but it's nice to go into your next team with it already defense broken, depending on the type of team you're running. Okay, so this is just going swimmingly. Everything's hitting correctly. We're already a million score with 20 turns left. The last couple of turns is where a bulk of your damage comes out of. So it's like, it seems like you won't get very close, and then suddenly you'll just slam a ton of damage in. It's great. So here we go. Branding, no armor break. So this is one of the cases where it kind of goes awry. Luckily, he hits really hard. So like even without defense break, we still killed. So our score is going to be lower, but it didn't like, we didn't lose, you know, like we didn't take a hit there. It doesn't throw our tuning off. It's just that whenever we finally get down this, we're probably going to be missing like an extra 50k health or 50k score or something like that. That's the only real downside. I think maybe on the last couple turns you might not kill if you miss a defense break, but for all the other ones, they just sort of hit hard enough that it doesn't matter too much. And since we used Helia's third skill on the first turn, it will be up on the very last turn. And what's really cool with this turn ordering, where he goes last, is that if you hit the defense break and the armor on the, if you hit defense break and branding on the third turn, or on this last turn, it'll actually be up if like for, oh, see, we missed it. So we're only gonna get like 2.2. So like that, if we had gotten branding there, that would have been like a 2.38 or 2.35 or something like that. Anyway, that's how the team works. I could go fishing for a 2.4, but I'll just put a screenshot and make it clickbait. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Just ask if you have any questions about it, just ask in the comments. There are free-to-play teams that are basically, I just want to say this up front. There are free-to-play teams that are essentially just as good as this. Okay. And in fact, take less runes than this one does. So like they're a secret for now, but they'll come out in a few days, like probably after this first competitive setup. I just want you to realize you don't need LD5s, at least for team 1. I know Uldong is essentially required to make this Duragron team get absolutely ridiculous scores, but for team 1 and team 2, the free-to-play options are perfectly fine. Like, don't think that's holding you back, because it really isn't. All right, thanks again, everybody. See ya.